A good night of Shabbos. This week's Parshas, Parshas Shemos. Parshas Shemos, we have the birth of the greatest leader the Jewish people have ever known, Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, as we know, is born and is raised as an Egyptian prince. He is raised in the house of Parai. And of course, he eventually goes out to the nation and becomes the leader of the Jewish people. But right in the beginning, after he is named Moshe, and the pasuk tells us, "Vayihi bayamim hahem," and it was in those days, "Vayigdal Moshe." Moshe grew up. Vayetze alechav. He went out to his brothers. Vayar b'siv lo sam, and he saw what was going on. Vayar, and he saw ish mitzri makeh ish ivri me'achav. He saw an ish mitzri, and he was hitting an ish ivri from his brothers. So we see that Moshe Rabbeinu right away, even though he grew up in the house of Parai, he also was a Jew, and he was born to a Jewish family. So he had this kind of dual identity, or this kind of conflict in his head. And we can read the Psukim al derech drush very interestingly. Vayifen ko v'ko, the pasuk says, and he turned this way and that way. Vayar, and he saw ki ein ish. Literally, it means he turned this way and that way, and he saw that there was no man there. Vayachas ha-mitzri, and he hit the mitzri. Vayitmeneu b'chol, and hit him in the sand. But al pi drush, and this is not my pshat, I heard it, but I don't remember from where, so I apologize about that. But I heard once that Vayifen koi v'koi, he turned this way and that way. He looked at himself, at both sides of himself. He looked at himself as the Egyptian prince, and then he looked at himself as a Jew. Vayifen kai v'kai, he looked this way and that way. Vayar ki einish, and he saw that as long as he's going to be living this dual life and have this dual identity, he's not a man. He had to pick. So vayach es ha-mitzri, he hit the mitzri, he put it away, vayitmeneu b'chol, and he put that to the side. And that's when he decided at this very moment that he's not going to be that mitzri anymore that he was previously. And he's going to make his priority and his focus being on the Jewish people. So this is a tremendous turning point. But it's also a lesson to everybody. We all have in our lives, we all have struggles, and we all have different conflicts in our thoughts and in our thought process and in our identities and in our personalities. So we have to learn to do what Moshe Rabbeinu did here. Vayifen kai v'kai, look at all these conflicts that you have and then see what you want to be the priority. Because if not, then you're going to see Vayar ki ein ish. You can't have conflictions like that. You can't live a life both ways. You have to decide what your priority is in life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to slip up. It doesn't mean you're not going to fall. Of course, we know the Chazal tell us, Sheva yipal tzaddik v'kam, a tzaddik falls 7 times and gets up. That's not the point. The point is you have to decide what is your priority, and that's what Moshe Rabbeinu did in this pasuk, and that's what we all have to do. Every day we have to decide. Vayifen kai v'kai, look at ourselves, look both sides inside of ourselves, because if not, if you don't do that, if you don't choose, you're going to be ein ish. You're not going to be a person. You have to decide what's going to make you a person. Shabbos.